guys, Happy New Year and welcome back. So, new year, new adventures, new possibilities. A lot of people are very excited about this year because honestly, the past couple of years have been a bit of a mess for everyone basically. So I'm not gonna complain too much because it has been, highs, lows, all of that, you know it. But what we're doing today is our first painting of the year. So I'm gonna break the ice this year with making a little painting in my sketchbook. I'm thinking about something simple. I still have to look for the reference. I was thinking about a potted plant or something with wash. I always see these videos in Pinterest and Instagram of these little wash paintings that are so satisfying, and I was thinking that maybe that would be a good thing to start this year. Also, to fill up my sketchbook a little bit more. And it's a bit of a no pressure, sort of fun thing that I'm hoping I enjoy. It should be sort of quick. I don't think it will take me longer than an hour. And it just helps break the ice. And while I do that, I'm going to be telling you a bit about my goals, my resolutions for this year, and also reflect a bit over the past year. So I must say right out of the bat, because I always say it, I do make goals and resolutions at the beginning of the year, and I do reflect over the past year, but I actually don't really let that dictate my year, because a lot of things can happen. Sometimes you just need to reevaluate and restart, and that's completely fine. I think it's good from time to time to just look back at those resolutions, which I always forget, by the way, to, get clear about what do you wanted in the beginning of the year and see if you still want it. I think I'm going to try this year, when we're halfway through it, to do that and reflect on that and see if that's something that helps. What I mean is I said these things, but they're not set in stone, and it's completely fine. One of the main reasons I did this every year is because it helps me a lot to just sit down, reflect over the past year, and just see what worked, what didn't. Right now, because I have blog posts about it of every year for the last 3 or 4 years, I can look back and see if there's some things that aren't getting done. I'm thinking about reflecting over those and see, well, are these my priority? Do I still want to do this, or should I just shake it off? Because a lot of times you have these things, they're just not moving, and it's like, do I still want this? Is this still relevant? Maybe you will revisit it down the line in 5 years, but maybe right now is not the time for that. So that's fine too. And that's what I'm gonna be doing this year. That's the picture I've chosen. I liked it because it's very basic with a cacti, but it also has some texture on the face, so I like that. The photographer is Dits, and this is a page I use for copyright-free images. It's called Pexels. I'll leave the link down below too. Okay, so it's time to talk a bit about my goals and resolutions, but before everything, I think it will be good for me to tell you a bit about what I wanted to do for this 2021 and how that went, what I achieved, what I didn't, and overall how 2021 went, because I haven't been very consistent with YouTube, so I know there's a lot that has been left off. So first of all, how did 2021 go with my goals and resolutions? Well, now that I actually looked at them and did a little check, not so good. But also, I have a reason for that. Halfway through the year, I got this offer to illustrate a children's book. That obviously went over the other half of my year. A lot of my priorities changed during that time because obviously I needed to focus on my children's book. Also, the beginning of the children's book lined up with my first ever convention. That obviously made my priorities change a lot because I didn't have time for a lot of things. Prepping for a convention is a lot of work, and when it's the first time, even though you might have read a ton of articles about it, have watched videos and whatever else, there's still a lot of things. I feel like I went really well prepared to my first convention. A lot of people who I talked to actually said that I was pretty well prepared, but I worked a lot and I worked really, really hard to keep up with everything. But I obviously had to left some things behind to be able to prepare for that convention and to keep working on that children's book. Goals, resolutions change and can be adapted. I decided to focus on what was important at that moment. Keep that in mind. Goals and resolutions are not set in stone. They should be going with you as you go. And obviously you change, your priorities can change obviously over the course of a year. Is a long, long time. It's important that you keep yourself flexible and don't beat yourself up when you see that you haven't achieved the things that you wanted. So for example, let's look at my goals in 2021. First off, drawing. I wanted to start drawing more, so I set myself a goal to draw from 5 to 10 hours a week. I track the time that I work and the time that I draw, and it came out about 2 hours a week. Probably some weeks it was a lot more, others less, I still want to draw more, but maybe a goal of hours drawn a week is not exactly a good measure of that. Another thing that I proposed myself that I thought it wasn't going to be that hard is do 100 drawings this past year. A couple of years ago, I know that I did over 200 pieces a year because I was posting mostly every day and a lot of times it was new work. So I thought that drawing 100 drawings would have been easy. Well, it wasn't. I got 54. It isn't bad. I hit the halfway point and passed it a little bit, but yeah, not as easy as I thought initially. I'm gonna try this year to fill up the 100 and hopefully get past that. So I'm gonna start at 54 and try to get to 100. Another goal I had drawing related was to improve my sketchbooking habit. You know, sketchbooking is just like everything else. Sometimes you draw a lot in your sketchbook, some other times you don't. For some reason, I've been dragged to digital lately. Also, I've been doing a lot of products, so it's easier to do it digital. So on the organization front, my goals were to take my weekends off and start batching tasks for YouTube and blogging to get stuff done ahead of time. So the weekends off I've achieved, but just these last few months actually. I just did it out of burnout basically. I realized that if on weekends I just played The Sims, chilled out, sometimes I will work an hour or two and without any pressure on. With that I felt that my weeks were starting to be a bit more productive. About the batching tasks, no, that didn't work. I kept up with YouTube for half of the year, but as soon as the convention came, paired with the children's book, it was impossible. Then on personal projects, I had a few. Now that I look back on them, a lot of them are not that important. I'm not gonna get much into them. I have a circus themed coloring book in the works that has been in the works for like 4 years. And I'm starting to think, I'm not sure if I should drop it, if I should just try to do a few more pieces and get it out, but I just never sit down and do it. So it's starting to feel like a drag of a project that I never get to do. If that's the case, then, you know, sometimes you just have to drop it, or at least drop it temporarily. Mostly, any of these projects didn't got done. So let's move over to the next part. About products, I will say this one is the one that I achieved the most because one of my priorities this year was my shop. Up until I closed it, obviously. I was actually seeing a lot of improvement in my shop. I designed a lot of products. I actually started getting my own range of products with my own designs instead of just fan art. I don't really love to sell fan art if I can avoid it, but you know, when you start out, it's just the only thing you can do to sell a bit and get up afloat, you know? The convention helped a lot in that front as well. I've been doing a lot more stickers and I realized that stickers started selling really well in my Etsy shop, so I started doing more. And eventually in June, after the first payment of the children's book, I got myself a printer because that gave me so much freedom. I really couldn't find a place to make prints that I liked, and I was getting very frustrated with that. It's easier to experiment with products if you have your own printer. I got myself a cheap printer, but it has been doing the job so well, and it's just marvelous to have that. With this, I got a chance to do a lot of things on my own, experiment with the packaging, with products and all of that, and it's been just awesome to be able to do that. I'll have a video on my printer because I've already recorded a little clip reviewing it, so I'll have that up eventually. I'm not sure when, but I'll have that up. And yeah, another goal of mine was making new products, and as I said, I made a lot for my convention. I made a lot for Etsy as well with personal designs and my original stuff until they closed my shop. If you want anything, by the way, I have my coffee shop open and my website shop open. That should be updated soon with new stuff, and you can still get stuff there. Okay, so the last couple of things are commissions or freelance work. I had a goal for how much I wanted to get paid in order to be able to keep it up. Now, I didn't reach that goal, but it wasn't so little either. It's a very good increment from what I've been earning the previous years. And otherwise that, I did have a few personal or health related goals. Basically, we've been a bit sedentary ever since we moved together, my boyfriend and I did wanted to move a bit more, do a bit more yoga, eat better. It wasn't too good of a ride. I actually gained a few pounds more this year. So I'm hoping that this year we'll do better. And the other one was to finish my final degree project for uni. And no, that didn't got done either. I do have a bit of work on that. It's not completely empty. I do need to do that this year. So on the drawing front, I just basically want to do more art. As I said, I wanted to complete the 100 drawings that I didn't do last year. Despite me having to do some fan art for conventions and stuff, I want to do a few more originals this year. I feel like I haven't done any originals this year, like only 2 or 3 maybe, and I'm feeling a bit less creative actually. Okay, on the organization front, I want to basically keep up with what I've been doing now. I use Notion now, and I really like the weekly schedule. I basically put myself up 2-3 important tasks, and that's what I try to accomplish over the week. It's been working well for this past month and a half, and I think it is the best way I've used so far to get stuff done. I want to keep up with what I've been doing this past couple of months too, that is building a backlog of videos and blog posts to have that in case anything goes wrong. So in a few months' time, I have both my blog and YouTube uploading consistently, and hopefully that will get the traffic rolling a bit more. Also, I want to give my shop an update now that my Etsy shop has been closed. It's a bit harder to get traffic in your own website, especially if you don't have a big following. So I want to start promoting it a bit more. And in the same side as that, I would like to keep my website updated. I need to do a bit of a portfolio update at the children's book work, so I need to work into that too. Another thing that I want to do that I have been doing on and off is learning more about Patreon and hopefully set up one by the end of the year. So a lot of people say that you need to have a good following to start a Patreon, but the more that I've been looking into it, I've seen that there have been people that have started basically with Patreon and build up from there. So that's, in mind, and hopefully for the near future. Then I would like to keep going to conventions and just basically do better, improve my earnings, because last time I basically made the money for the table. So I want to have more variety of products and probably of designs too, to be able to sell more. Also, I think I need to look up into improve my setup so it's a bit more attractive. I felt like last time it was a bit cluttered and people didn't know where to look. About products and projects. So I had a Skillshare class in the works pending that I wanted to do last year. I want to set up another income stream via courses and stuff like that. And I think that Skillshare is a good place to start because I don't have that many followers, but I wanted to do that and I'm hoping to get that done this year. Another project that I wanted to do this year and I didn't got to because I was busy with the children's book, yes, again, was publishing a children's book of my own in October of 2000, I'm not sure anymore, of 2020, I think. I did a little bit of a story with a character. So all of the prompts in October follow this character in a sort of adventure. And I really liked the illustrations that I did for that. I gave every day a bit of a story. So I wanted to use that and turn it into a children's book, use the illustrations, maybe add a few more if I need them, and, use the basis of the story that I had in mind for a children's book. So I was hoping I could get it done this year for Halloween. And lastly, I started working on an ebook on watercolors. This is a bit more work for my blog, so I have a little product to give my followers that is a bit more than the blog post that I have on watercolors. Another thing that I want to do this year is be a bit more active about searching for jobs and commissions. I should be a bit more consistent about it. This year I do want to be more healthy and move more, and I need to implement this in just in my daily routine. It's not just for this year, but just as a routine. And lastly, I have a couple of social media goals and I'm hoping to hit them up this year if we keep up the good work. One of them is hitting the 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. We're halfway through. And then I do have the little goal of getting my TikTok up to 1,500 followers. I've already have almost 500 and this is just since May. I hope you enjoyed my rant about goals and resolutions. Please tell me in the comment whatever goals and resolutions you're setting up for yourself this year so we can encourage each other and have company on this journey of filling up our goals. I hope you liked the painting as well. It's a very simple, quick thing that I did on my sketchbook, but I really enjoyed it. I had a good time and it was a good way to break off the ice for this year and start working on bigger projects. So I'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching and for keeping me company while I paint. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye!